It is all one take, and we're live.
We're live?
No, we ain't live.
We're not live? Oh, okay.
We'll have time to edit if we do anything stupid.
We never do, though.
We usually, it rolls.
Yeah, just watch your language.
Right.
Yeah, there's other words. You can't say corp.
How funny would it be, though, if we had a whiteboard and we wrote down all the words we couldn't say, but it was like visible in the podcast? It's like all the words we're not allowed to say, but it was completely visible the whole time.
And then maybe like a ding or something each time you do say something that's on the
there's
on the jar.
Yeah, there's a scoreboard.
Welcome to the Slightly Serious Sign podcast. This is episode 45. 45. That's right. So we'd like to welcome everybody. We have Jeff from Onyx here. So we're going to talk about software. Yeah, that's right. We're going to get into deep about software. We're going to talk about how this software can actually help any sign shop through doing color management to getting the right prints that you want off your printers, profiling, even white profiles.
Domingo didn't read the notes.
I didn't read the notes.
Domingo, that's not what we're going to talk about.
I was starting to wonder about
Domingo.
that. I mean, those are all great things. I am happy to talk about
this.
Podcast,
So I'm like,
this is why we can't have him on the podcast, Tyler.
We had him do the intro, and I should have just let him keep going, and then I should have told him at the end. That's not what we're talking about at all.
Okay, restart. Here we go.
Restart.
Tyler, what we're going to talk about?
Onyx Align.
Oh, we're going to talk about that as well. Okay. Well, we're going to talk about all of
So
that.
if all the things Domingo just mentioned sound exciting to you, let us know. So we'll do a part two.
We'll do a part two.
That version of the software.
Listen,
happy to come back and do that anytime, for sure.
We don't do that version of it. That's for that other extended gamut podcast.
Yeah,
out of
we
IT.
said,
we let them do that. We don't let them do that stuff.
So you set me up again. Is what you just did. Hey, Domingo, we need you for a podcast. Okay, all right. Let me cancel everything I got. I'll be there.
We just wanted the clip. That's really what we wanted. You're good now. If you want to go back to your desk, we're good now.
All right,
we got what we needed.
Welcome. See ya.
Great job. For sure.
So yeah, everyone, welcome. We're going to talk about Onyx Align today. So Onyx obviously has RIP management software, which does all of the color management, profiling, all that stuff that Domingo just mentioned.
Subject's near and dear to my heart.
But we're going to talk about Align, which is their production management software. Is that the
order management software?
Order management software.
Yep.
So if you have issues, getting jobs out on time or knowing what's going on at any given time in your shop,
yes,
this is software for you. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about.
For sure.
I did want to start this one because last time I forgot to say this. I said it at the end, and then you guys all made fun of me. Happy New Year! So happy New Year, guys. This is December 30th. This is December 30th episode. So
okay.
Okay. Well, happy New Year to everybody.
So happy New Year.
Hope you guys all had. Did you guys all have a good Christmas?
Yeah. Yeah.
I just listened to a podcast that just did this.
It's December 10th right now, but did you guys have a good Christmas?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, got everything
you wanted?
Yep, for sure.
Yeah?
I bought everything I needed.
Absolutely. Yeah. Nice.
Good. And no family drama, nothing like that going on?
No, I think it was good.
Okay, good.
I'm
glad it all went well.
Sports podcast talk about this. They they typically record their episodes on Tuesday. So they did the whole intro talking about Monday Night Football. And then they're like, by the way, this is a joke. It's actually Sunday. We have no idea what's happening on the Monday Night Football game, but hopefully we were close. But it literally goes on for 10 minutes of them talk about the game as if it had already happened. So yeah, Christmas was good. Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
But
well,
see.
your kids got what they wanted.
Yeah, I hope so. As long as I don't lose them between now and Christmas. So
unfortunately, no snow as far as I know.
Yeah, right now. Apparently we're supposed to get snow tomorrow or something.
Tonight.
So. Oh, is that right?
Oh, tonight.
Tonight?
Okay.
How much?
When's, they said it's
37
warning,
inches, like last time when we got.
We didn't get barely. Well, actually, I left town before we got it.
Right? They say that it's going to be bad, and then
we're happy.
What is this?
Oh, that's good. All right.
I think that's the only. That's a job that I really would like.
Yeah, you
can
never
be
have
totally
to be
wrong, but you're still not going to lose your job.
Careful. My niece is a meteorologist out in Madison, Wisconsin. So,
there you go.
Yeah, she does a great job,
and she's 100% correct.
Most likely.
She gets it right every time.
Every time.
Yeah.
Domingo, you said in the last podcast that you would go to bed after you watch the weather. And I was thinking about it. Like, I don't think I've ever watched the weather. I just get up in the morning, I look outside, and I go like, all right, I'm going to need a jacket. Or like, man, it might rain today.
I use the same methodology.
I never pay attention.
Sure.
You're in Michigan. Give that an hour. It's going to change.
Yeah, so I never pay attention. I just wing it. If I end up believing, like, well, there's that story where Brent and I went to the UP to do sales calls. We only had shorts and T-shirts on, and it's overnight. It snowed like 18 inches. We didn't have a snow brush. We only had shorts on, no jackets, no nothing. So we just went home.
Yeah, your method failed in that case.
Yeah, we were.
Sure.
It was an absolute fail.
Yeah.
But he
went
didn't
to
learn from that.
You went to the
he
first
just
stop and they were
continues.
like, just fly in?
Yeah, I still have never learned from that. I just every day is I wing it. That's
Well,
just
no,
how I live.
up in the UP, they just thought he was a normal Michigander at that point.
Yeah, I wasn't the only one in
and
shorts.
T-shirts. They greeted him at the door wearing the same thing. They're like, yeah, this guy knows what he's doing. He's been here before.
Right.
So, anyways, Jeff, thanks for coming on.
Oh, you're welcome.
We did it again. We
Thanks
did
for
a
having us.
10-minute intro, so success. Do you just want to give you a brief intro,
Yeah.
kind of who you are, how long you've been in the industry, and then what's your current role?
Sure. So my name's Jeff Brito. I have been in the industry for 30 years, over 30 years, about 20 on the wide format sign graphic side. And currently I work for, as of the last year and a half, as the Midwest territory sales manager for Onyx Graphics, Midwest US and Eastern Canada. And yeah, like I said, been doing that for about the last year and a half.
How do you like it so far?
Love it, actually. Yeah, I mean, like I said, to get to talk about all the subjects that Domingo said I was going to talk about today, which I enjoy doing. Wide format, color management, workflow, helping customers and improving their business, making them more productive. I actually really enjoy it.
Kids? Have any kids?
I do. I've got 2 kids, 2 daughters. They're both just about ready to fly the coop and go off to college.
Oh, nice.
Both in one shot. So
Good.
It's so nice when they all leave home.
is it?
But
It
then
does get quiet.
and the grandkids are nice, but like, it'd be a lot more peaceful if like they were well behaved.
They're mostly well behaved.
As he's looking at you. So I
was
assume
looking-
your
I
kids
was
are
looking-
right.
little terrors, what they
They're
are.
menace is the correct word.
Most well behaved. He says
No,
that. We
they're
talked
not
on the
bad.
phone for like 5 minutes yesterday. No
Yeah, we
problems.
did talk. No, she kept trying to hang the phone up.
Well, she did hang up on him.
She hung up on me twice.
She really that's the only thing she likes about FaceTime is the end call button. That's actually the highlight of the entire call.
It's
getting
like
to
a
hang up the
game,
phone.
right?
Yeah. It's like,
I see a button.
red button,
Click it. Hit it.
click the button, and then it goes away.
Yeah.
And she's like, it's gone. I don't know what to
You
tell
gotta
you.
you gotta do like the cartoons. Don't ever touch the red button.
Don't touch the button. So, the question Domingo always wants me to ask, and I always put it in the notes, and then I always forget to ask it. Obviously, in this role, you're probably traveling at least a decent amount. So, if you could choose anywhere to eat, where would it be, and what would it be?
And the reason why we ask that is because everybody travels everywhere. Everybody stays at different hotels. If you're going to Vegas, you're at a different hotel. You're here, there. We might be missing a good spot to eat
Oh,
while we're out.
To be
And
honest,
maybe you
that's
got a hidden gem
where
that we
you're
don't
going.
know about.
That's the only reason we travel.
So that's why
we wouldn't even go to the shows if they didn't serve
Exactly.
food.
right.
So is there a special restaurant or food that you got to have?
Yeah. Well, I definitely love Cuban food.
Okay.
Finding a good Cuban food restaurant is certainly a challenge. I'd say it pretty much never happens when I'm traveling. But if you are in Chicago, especially in the summertime, there's a really good one called Havana Grill.
Okay.
Downtown is some nice outdoor seating. You can't really go wrong with Chicago in the summertime. And like I said, love Cuban food.
Okay.
There we go.
Oh, we got a commercial break.
Special delivery.
Special delivery.
We told him just
Yeah.
to bring them as soon as the podcast started. We
Yeah.
weren't going to make it. I don't know if you noticed, he was falling asleep over here on the other side of this table.
Wow.
I thought you were
There you
doing
go.
4. I was like, holy cow. It's going to be the
Hey, 3 is enough. 3's enough.
3 is enough. How
I'll
many
get through
milligrams of caffeine are in there?
I don't know. I should get through the podcast though.
1,000 total?
Like we said earlier, your heart's a muscle, just like any other muscle you work out. You work it out till failure.
Yeah. He's got a muscle. His muscles will give out way before his heart does anyways. So he's got nothing to lose, it feels like.
I saw yours said Amber. I thought you were getting a beer there for a minute. 'cause
Oh, we wish.
that's the kind of beer I drink, amber.
No, unfortunately.
What is your
just
favorite
coffee.
beer?
Actually, my favorite is actually Yingling. We're really
yeah.
exciting that's coming to Chicago finally.
Yeah.
They were always relegated to the East Coast. Couldn't get our hands on it.
Light's pretty good.
Yeah.
I've heard that there's a company that has a branch like in like Kentucky, and the guy that goes down there a lot brings Yingling back. That's rumor.
That's a rumor.
That's just
You
a
can,
rumor. That's just a
Yingling
rumor.
guy?
It's because I get yelled at by my wife. Did you get any beer? Well,
Yeah.
you were in Kentucky.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah, you can't get it in Michigan.
Why
It's
are you
like
either.
I
getting beer in
can't
Kentucky?
I can't get
Can't get
Tyler.
Crime.
Well, usually you got to get it in
They
Indiana.
have it in Ohio.
They have it in Ohio. They have it in Kentucky. And
Okay.
so
You
like
can get it
in Indiana.
They have it like at
in Indiana.
the
Yeah.
hotel we stay at in Indy has it.
Yes. So like it's just Michigan, Illinois are still the holdouts. in
And
this
so
area.
will you guys be getting it at the same time we will
I
coming
hope
up
so.
here?
I hope
Okay.
so.
You can only get 3 cases at a time, just so you're aware.
3 cases.
Well, that's what Meyer only allowed
And he
me
needs to
do.
go back in 3 days to get another 3.
Yeah.
You got a drinking problem, Domingo.
My wife does. Oh, I shouldn't say that.
She's
Bleep that
listening.
Cut that out.
Why
I
do you
didn't
always
mean that.
why do you always blame me?
That was a joke.
Honey, you know the
Insert
truth.
asterisk here.
Yeah, my wife and I only agree on like 2 beers, neither of which you can get in Illinois. Spotted Cow from Wisconsin and Yingling from the eastern part of the
Okay.
country there. So at least the Yingling problem is getting resolved soon. So that's good.
That's good.
Yep.
So we'll get into kind of Onyx Align now. So do you want to just give kind of like a brief introduction as to what exactly it is
Sure.
and maybe like who the target audience for this is?
Okay, great. Yeah. So Onyx Align is a web-based order management system specifically designed for large format sign graphic shop by Onyx. So we developed it from the ground up, really to address the daily business challenges that we know our customers are facing. Obviously, we've been at this for quite a while with our rep, and our products have been in small to very large shops. On the Align side, the target market is more small to medium sized shops that need to get more organized, quote faster, things like that.
So we've said this 1,000 times in here, but what we never have qualified, what's a small to medium shop? What size? Because that's a question I just got from a customer. Like, am I a small, medium? Am I a large? Like, where's your
What's
what's the number?
criteria? Is it printers? Is it
People?
revenue? Is it people? Is it
production?
Right.
so?
Anybody got an
Oh, you
answer?
want me to answer that question?
Somebody answer
I
it.
think I honestly think it's people. I would
Yeah.
put people before I would
Right.
put
Say,
equipment.
give me a number.
Yeah.
So I think when I say small, I always am saying like mom and pop. So I would put that at under 5.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
put that, I'll put it as 5. Let's say 5.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's a
small's
safe
5 or under.
Yeah. And then I would think medium is like a dozen.
6 to 12
Yeah.
is medium.
Yeah.
And then anything else is large. And then you have extra large.
Sure. Sure.
Right.
But I
Okay.
think,
We just set the standard,
but
industry
I think,
standard across the board.
I mean, I think
0
of
to
some
5
shops
small?
that are doing a ridiculous amount of work that have 12 or less.
Sure.
So like, that's why I put the
Yeah.
line there is I think like as soon as you cross 12, like the only reason you're crossing 12 is if you have, at least 6 guys in just production, or you have at least 6 guys in just installs. More than likely. Because
Well, you got
otherwise there's
graphic
not a lot
designers. You got you have there's all kinds of different positions.
Yeah.
I think.
But a lot
Yeah.
of people have 1 or 2 that are doing the same job. So
Yeah.
if you compare that,
But I just think of
Right.
shops, like some of our biggest shops, I think probably total have less than 12. That's why I
Okay.
think if you get to 12, then you're definitely up there. But also I
we're,
think
Tyler
we're,
has
we're
spoken.
talking about the same. Yeah. We look at it about that same way.
Okay, that's the new
Yeah.
industry standard.
Yep.
we just said it here.
Let,
Wow.
let everybody know.
Nice
We
job.
just made it.
Yep.
We've done it. We've made our mark now.
Nice
And,
shot,
and it
Tyler.
was
Business.
approved.
We can be done. Yep.
Said it, we're approved.
Yeah. Voted on by Signman. Thank you. Appreciate you guys. If you
Yeah,
guys disagree,
we have.
let us know in the comments. But I doubt it. Nobody will leave a comment anyway, so just be sad.
We certainly have sold a line to 1-person shops all the way up to the 12 to 15, somewhere around there. So, yeah, that matches up.
Wait, a one-man shop needs a software to keep himself organized?
Yes. And honestly,
Yeah, well, that can happen.
yeah.
Huh.
Have
can
you
see
met
that.
some of these one-man shops?
Well,
I just, to me, it boggles my mind. Like, okay, well, you only can have so much work because it's yourself.
Yeah.
And like, if you can't remember, you booked these 4 jobs, but maybe they don't. Like,
so in this
there's
case,
so
it was
much
actually a one-man wrap shop with a single printer, but he was actually looking to leverage some, help from his wife, actually, to try to, bring her in to get the help. And there was actually no better way at the point where you need more help than, what you have currently, being in a position to onboard somebody so that you could leverage that assistance right away, right? Because you've got all the information in there and somebody could actually jump in and help you.
I understand it now. So, hey, honey, the computer said you need to get this done.
Yeah. I think
Right?
for that one,
That's what the computer said, honey. The computer said, get this job done tonight.
I mean, think about it. Like if you're the one that's going out and doing the installs and you also have a storefront, right? And you bring somebody on, they have no idea. Right. Like, hey,
Right.
what's 10 yard signs? I don't know. What even is a yard sign? That's probably what they're asking them. What exactly are you looking for here?
Yeah.
Versus like when we saw it, like you can obviously build the templates for, like standard signs, right? Like I
Right.
need 10 t-shirts. I need 10 yard signs. I need,
Right.
the basic stuff. Then at least they have an answer, right? Be like, well, I don't really know what that is, but I can type it into this computer here and it's going to give me an answer. So I think that is probably what you're looking at for like a 2-man shop is like, hey, this person can quote when I'm not there. At least they don't have to call
Yeah,
me.
you're right on. Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Yeah,
seems
and
like a
then
good-
also the software allows you to see ink, how much cost of the ink that you're using through every printer. I mean, it's basically a very detailed software management system that allows not only the production guy to see what printers are running, what jobs are in the queue.
Right.
I mean, I've seen it on a big screen, and I'll tell you what, it is fascinating to see all of the intricate details of every department that software can manage.
Sure.
And one person can look at that and see exactly what's going on, what jobs are, like I said, what jobs are in the queue, what jobs what material needs to be in each individual printer just to run these jobs.
Sure.
That production manager can see it. So he's already on the ball, already ready to go. So, I mean, I wish we could show like clips of it to show it on the screen. I don't know if Rick can.
Does
maybe
it show does it also show, and I've not seen it because I think I was busy messing around probably when you guys were seeing it at the
Probably.
show.
Yeah.
So a guy comes in and orders 10 signs. The same guy comes in later, orders 10 signs. It'll show his order.
Yeah.
That's where I could see a need for even one person because
Sure.
either you got to try to remember what you charged them last time,
Exactly. It
or you
has
got to
all
look
that
it up,
info.
or you got to go through the file and look it up. So that's probably
your file cabinet.
my file cabinet. Mine would be my book. Like I think I charged them $14 each. How about $140? No,
Yeah.
last time it was only $110. Like, well, it went up.
But the key is that even if that individual that did that quoting was not there,
You can
they're
do
on
it.
vacation.
And you have the
And
same.
somebody walks in and
Right.
says, "Hey, I need this blah 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 job." They pull up all that information. They know exactly what they charge,
Yeah.
how many they got,
Same
all that
file,
stuff.
same color, same
Everything.
format, same. That I can see. That's probably worth it. It's probably that's at that point. Like yes, it only takes a couple repeat jobs to probably pay for itself.
And also when it comes to jobs requiring installation, if you're using the system that way, you're able to have your installers taking before and after shots of the install, making notes of any challenges. All that actually stays in the history of the order. So you'll see not only the files, but you could actually see photos of the site as well.
Yeah, I think one of the other, so the other one that I asked that we've kind of already gone through is like, what is some of the pain points is trying to solve? The other one I think that we see or we get questions about, like when we do rap classes and all that kind of stuff, is like, hey, what do you charge? And every trainer has a different answer to that question. Like, oh, what do you charge? Oh, it depends. We do by a square foot. We do by the job. We do by the vehicle. We do by how much I like the person. It's always different, right? But I think if you're running a shop and like you look at the end of the month, you're like, I crushed it. And then you look at your bank account and you're like, I didn't make any money. I don't know what happened.
Sure.
That's probably software. It could help you with that one. So
Could be your wife too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's true too.
Right.
Could be anything, right? Could be an employee. You never know. You never know. But
Honey, were you in the books? No. You sure?
but like when you run through the setup for a line, it asks you questions that a lot of people I don't think have ever asked themselves at all.
There's no question. You're right on there. So when we're going through that training process, that alone ends up being an eye opener for people. It's like, didn't think about that. Like, do you wash the cars? Do you, what other sort of prep do you do to, the fenders, whatever it is, all the little steps that you might not be thinking cost money or time, but going through the process of setup and answering the questions and thinking about the things you need to enter in kind of pulls back the curtain a little bit and makes you realize what some of your costs are. You can actually set up when you're talking about the pricing. My favorite was whether or not you like the person. But you've got the square foot pricing model, but you also have cost plus, and you can do that by product. So you can pick whether or not, if something in order to sell a yard sign, for example, if regardless of your costs, you got to be at $2 a square foot or whatever it is, you can put that in. But then for your other products, you can have that as cost plus. So what are your costs? What are the margin? What's the margin you want to make? And you could separately set up the pricing model for each. And based on whether or not you like the person, you could have different discount levels on the account as well.
Well, it's not whether you like them. There's sometimes a charge for putting up with certain people, right?
Sure.
Like, I think every business has it. Like, okay, you got this guy who wants to argue every single time he's in. Okay, there's a price to putting up with you.
Right.
Like, you're going to pay a different price, and a lot of people don't understand that. But
I saw a post yesterday I think it was on the Wrap Room, and they just took a picture. They're like standing back, just finished. I think it's like a matte white PPF, and they're standing back and they're taking a picture. And there's two guys, and they're like an inch from the car, right? They're like just barely walking, just checking everything. And he's like, they still didn't find anything. And the first comment was, I hope you charged them enough for this customer. And that's the exact thing I was thinking. I was like, there's a difference where like, you just do it,
Right.
Nobody ever checks your work. It goes fine. Versus the customer that's going to check everything, right? Like those are two different costs. It just is, this one's easy to deal with. This one's
It's
way
kind of
more
like
time.
it's kind of like I have a friend that needs a sign. He doesn't care. He just needs a sign. Then you have a customer that very picky, very detailed.
Sure.
So yeah, I can understand two different prices.
Sometimes a friend needs to be more expensive.
Yeah, well, the friend knows how to take care of the friend.
Yeah, they know. It's a specific person.
Yeah,
Just to be clear, we at Onyx Graphics are not encouraging this method of setting discount levels per customer.
To be clear, Onyx Align, the pricing is standard. Does not depend on person at all. Okay.
this has happened.
Same at Wensco. We don't care.
yeah.
That has happened multiple times in our podcast. That someone would say, "Hey, that's not our."
I was having to put disclaimers in on our pod.
Hey, we didn't mention names. We could have mentioned names that come to the counter here.
We could have.
And they would have known next time they walk in, hey,
Someone would get better
why is
pricing.
my banner more expensive than everybody else's? Well,
Yeah, you get it now.
We literally just talked about that a couple episodes ago. We have to sell to the public. So sometimes, some random guy walks in, not a sign shop owner, and he buys stuff. Looks really good on the sheet at the end of the day, but...
Well, our Signicades are on sale. They were on sale today for $70. And if you walk in off the street as Tony's Pizza, I think you pay $263. So protect the sign man.
Yeah.
Go buy it from the sign man.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't want to sell it to you.
Yeah. Real estate office, same thing.
Real estate people, we don't want to sell it to
equipment.
you. Go to sign man.
Yeah, let them go to Signman to buy it.
But do not use it
And
as a
they could
sled.
charge $200 if they want.
Yeah, don't use it as a sled, though.
Right.
It doesn't work very good.
Right.
I thought it
You
looked
may
great.
damage.
Well, if you seen the episodes, well, we're way ahead.
Oh, we're sorry about that.
But if you saw the episode, it was kind of funny to make, I thought, and it was
Domingo's still injured to this day.
yeah. I got
So go watch
I got a
the
little
12 Days of
twitch
Christmas video.
in my neck.
Nice.
I have
He's trying to get workers' comp still.
I got a sore shoulder from that one you made me do
yeah,
yesterday.
yeah. It was all your idea.
I could do it.
I can do
He
it.
did do it.
Did I not do
He
it?
did do it.
Yeah, but you bent the product and kind of somebody's out there probably got a damaged sheet, but
It's all about hand placement when you bring it into the shop. Yeah, how's it look? Looks good.
Just one corner, just trimmed off.
You got your hand over the corner that's bad. It's all about hand placement.
Anyways, back to
We don't do that at Wensco. That's a different company's policy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's true. So the next question I had on this list. So we've kind of gone through a lot of the features. Are there any other features of the product that you think people will see kind of like an immediate value to? We talked about like kind of the onboarding in terms of actually finding your true cost. Maybe people haven't done that before. Is there other features that you think when people sign up are immediately like, oh shoot, I should have done this one?
Yeah, sure. So I would say A1, when we set out to build the system, actually was to address the specific pain point of how long it could take to generate a quote. So you often on a bigger project might be faced between the decision as to doing it very quickly or making sure you've got all of your costs covered that you're going to make money. So one of the key advantages or features of Onyx Align is that we want you to be able to get both. So we want you to be able to generate an estimate very quick. Somebody calls up, wants an estimate, you're going to be confident that you're going to make money on that estimate. So that was probably one of the driving issues that one of the issues that drove us to create the product to begin with. But also some of the other features that are really important are connectivity into Thrive. So if you've got Onyx Thrive, you can actually submit jobs right into the RIP from the order. So at that point, you've got the order all quoted, the way you're expecting to run certain things from a quality level, material selection standpoint, things like that. So if you have all that data in there already, rather than that being a job ticket to hand to somebody for them to maybe read it or not and proceed accordingly, you can actually submit the print ready file right into the Onyx RIP with all of the settings in there already. And then the other one to help out from the, probably both the back and front end is the integration with QuickBooks. So obviously a lot of small businesses, by Tyler's definition, is, oftentimes they'll be using QuickBooks. So, we got that over and over again. So we set out to build an excellent integration with QuickBooks that's, constantly synchronized, actually speeds up the setup process because you could bring in all of your active customers from QuickBooks. They go right in a line with the click of a button. Issued estimates go into QuickBooks from Align. Invoices go from Align into QuickBooks. I think I said the other one the wrong way. But the important thing is you're eliminating double entry. And you've got that ongoing synchronization, so you're not having to, at the end, somebody having to enter all that into QuickBooks for their accounting. It's really already in there because they put in the order through Align and when payment was made and so on and so forth.
So it's a very good integrator. I guess you say the integrating with software to try to streamline, I guess you would say, right? So for customers that are out there that are using multiple different softwares to do something, this kind of unites it, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was very interesting seeing on the TV to see how the demonstration was really well done. And you could actually see from point A to point Z, if you wanted to say, how it works, what you need to do, how easy it is to set up. But it's the key points of the information is there. It's quick. And that's what really, I think, is what Onyx is pushing. And I think the integration to the other softwares is making it so much simpler for a business to do this.
Right. When you talk about the size of the shop and all the things that have to get done and each individual wearing multiple hats, anytime you can take out double entry or a disconnection between two different systems, then you're going to make those, you enable them to be able to do all the things they need to do, without, spending the extra hours in a day, doing the quotes at night or whatever at the end of the day. A lot of times when there's one person doing those quotes, they become really a bottleneck and they've got to do all the things they got to do during the day to keep the business running. And then they still got to get their quotes done, overnight. If you could instead have somebody whoever's picking up the phone, when the customer asks for a quote, pull up the customer, pull up the products they want, change the variables, generate a quote. So, and the need to take all the orders after they're done and then enter them. See?
Oh, we almost lost it.
Like I said,
We
good
talked
catch.
about it before we started, and we almost lost the
See,
mic.
Jeff is like me. He likes to talk with his hands. See, I like talking with my hands too.
I absolutely do.
I do.
Absolutely do.
I
That's
do.
awesome.
Isn't that right, Tyler?
That's right.
For the rest of the time, my hands will be down here. So, yeah, just eliminating extra work and really allowing people to kind of multiply themselves the way they are anyway, but have things all in one system in an organized way. I think is tremendous.
We talked about this with some of the shops where it's one guy is doing 70, 80, 90 hours a week because he's the bottleneck for 4 different systems.
Yeah,
a lot of times software can just kind of help get that moving along a little smoother for you. So
for sure.
We talked about it before, like if you can't take a vacation or if you can't, be away from your phone for 8 hours, you're probably the bottleneck. Your company is overly depending on you currently, and software can sometimes alleviate a lot of that pressure, right? Like for quoting sake, there's still going to be jobs that you're going to end up having to quote, right?
Sure.
There's still going to be stuff that comes in that's oddball that nobody is going to know exactly. You're going to have to quote it, but probably a lot of your quotes are just basic stuff, right? I need a banner.
Yeah.
I need yard signs. I need t-shirts. I need even channel letters. Like even a lot of the channel letters are cabinets, right? All that stuff is pretty standard. There's not a lot of variability that goes into a lot of those. And if you could just take that one thing off your plate, and if it allows you like, hey, I didn't work Friday and they didn't need me. Like it just kind of worked.
Yeah, you're right. You're right on
That's
there
huge.
for sure. Yeah.
That's huge. Cause I think a lot of people just end up burning out. They're the bottleneck. They don't bring on anybody. They don't bring on any software. And then they're just like, I can't rely on anybody to do it. And it's like, no, cause you have to show them, and it's a lot. Like it's not the quoting process is not easy, right? There's just so many variables that go in for these products. But as soon as you just like, let's sit down, right, for a small portion of time and figure out what the actual cost is on this.
Right.
And then forever we'll be able to quote it. We're never going to.
Yeah, that's what it boils down to right there for sure.
So are we going to talk about how much it is?
Well, there's different levels, correct?
There is. Yeah. So, we're ready to accommodate, different size shops, the need for a monthly versus annual, how much training, so on and so forth. But in general, we like to do a prepaid annual subscription, and that comes out to certainly less than $500 a month.
There's your rough ballpark.
Roughly.
How does that price change? Like, is it by seat? Is it by how much you use it? How exactly does it work?
Number of users, amount of storage, and whether or not you want to go with monthly versus prepaid. Obviously an annual subscription is less money, averaged out per month versus paying monthly. I'm sorry, good. Oh, so one of the things I want to come back to when we're talking about the quoting, one of the things I want to make sure to drive home is it's ready to go for, both scenarios. Like Tyler said, for the basics, you want anybody to be able to generate that quote, right? But then there's some more advanced situations. So you've got different access levels within a line. So when you just need to quote the basics, even a banner sometimes can have an awful lot of variables in it depending on how you want to do it. But those are easy to do, actually. You can have someone that cannot see the costs but could see the pricing. So they could do an estimate very quickly, but they don't really know what the costs are. But when you do need to do a more involved project and you want to be able to interact on the fly as you're pulling that estimate together and understand what your costs are, you actually can see that in the system. So if you're at a level where you can see the costs at the same time as the pricing, you can make decisions on the fly. You can even do very, easy variance of the estimate, but as you're making your adjustments, you can keep an eye on your margin throughout that process. So understanding your costs while you're making, you're doing the more challenging quotes on the fly is definitely another, key feature.
So talk about you're basically having to input all your costs in there. What does onboarding look like? How difficult is that? How long does it take?
Yeah. So it's actually the process itself is easy. We've spent time not only refining the product, but also our delivery of the product from a setup standpoint, because that really is one of the most important elements of a system like that, is how easy it is to get started. So we certainly provide, recorded training sessions to make it real easy to understand all the steps that you have to do. That technically could be done in as little as 2 days. Nobody's ever taken us up on that, but it really amounts to 4 3-hour sessions is the structure. When you follow the structure there, then you've got some additional data entry self setup, and then we come back on the backside as well to make sure you're off to the races. But as far as the amount of time, the variable there, like any system like that, where you have to enter in all of your data and costs, that's variable, right? How much time are you dedicating to doing it and putting the information in? That part we can't do for you, but showing you how to do it and making it easy to do it is certainly, something we do very well.
Okay. The other one is, obviously this product's been out for how long now, roughly?
I'd say we officially launched it, I think July of 23. So we're just over a year.
Okay. Do you have any big success stories that you guys like to share or anything like that?
Yeah, one of our favorite ones actually is a customer that was wrapping box trucks, and they had been submitting that quote and doing that job for years actually. And once they got set up in a line and they put all of the variables in for the job, they realized, just about fell out of his seat, realized that he was actually $1,000 short per box truck in terms of what it is that he should have been
Charging.
Yeah. Ooh. So submitted the quote that came out of a line and still got the next quote. So the ROI on that was pretty good at that point. I think it was like 20 box trucks. So that was a significant amount of money.
Yeah. So $20,000 you just were giving away for free, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't take much to save $500 when you're organized. If you go from and a lot of people think they're organized until you get a software that organizes you.
Right.
And you'd be shocked how fast you can save $500 a month
Yeah.
or more.
Or make $500.
Or make an extra $500 because now you quoted that quote in 5 minutes versus 3 days.
Yeah.
And you got the quote that somebody else would have got before. That's not being organized. You should save far more than that by being more organized with software.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the software kind of points out all the detailed stuff, right? That you're kind of overseeing that you just don't. Oh yeah. Wrap attack or whatever what I'm using.
Yeah.
You don't put that in. Oh no.
Or
but you
painting
still
or
have to
cleaning a
add
wall,
that in.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly.
Even for people wrapping vehicles, it's the small stuff, right? Like the tape you're using, right? And you just don't average it out. And then you realize we've been using a roll and a half of tape per vehicle. Sure, it's not a ton of money, but it definitely adds up on the course of the year.
Yeah.
It's we should probably maybe include that in there.
But even just getting orders you might have lost because you didn't get the quote out fast enough, right? Yep. So if you're able to quote much faster than you were before, you're going to get more orders that you were otherwise losing because somebody else got a quote out faster. And then if you know that the quote that you put out at that point, you're actually going to make money on, then, you're getting it from both ends at that point. So you're getting an order you might not have gotten before, and it's going to be more profitable than it was previously.
Yeah. And when you get backed up, you just start randomly throwing numbers out.
Yeah.
Right.
So you may overquote or underquote because anybody that's backed up, they're not doing the research. They're guessing from what they thought they did last time.
Right.
Yeah. You think about it even from I just picture any shop that I've been to, right? Where somebody walks in, they're looking for a quote. So they're like, hey, give me a second. They walk into the back. They're like, yeah, someone needs 12 yard signs. And they're literally yelling to the guy, right? He's doing something in the back. He'll be like, yeah, $18 a piece. And be like, okay, sounds good. And they walk up to their front. They're like, yeah, it's $8 a piece. Happens. I guarantee it happens all the time, right?
The game of
we do
telephone,
it here,
right?
We're we'll be making an ad, and I'll be like, "Yeah, Bonnie, it's this," and I'll tell her, and then she'll put it up, and I'll see exactly what she heard me say, and realize we were clearly not on the same page there, right? And that's small stuff, right? That's not I didn't quote that job. That's me just
right,
sure,
getting ready, and so I'm sure it happens all the time. Where you're just miscommunication because you're literally just like, sometimes literally it's just verbal 1 second, right? It's like, yep, it's this. They don't hear the same thing as you and they walk up, tell the customer, then you're committed at that point, right? You're not going to come back and be like, oh, actually, yeah, it's $18, not $8. Sorry, my bad.
No wonder our marketing budget is so low.
We might mess it up a few times.
But also, like Mike
Some
was
sales
saying,
are really good here. Yeah.
as far as knowing what you did last time, there's two elements to that, right? One is what did you charge last time, but also how did you run it last time?
Yeah.
So both of those things are in the system at that point. And, you know, that winds up being an even bigger deal when there's, you know, turnover.
Yeah, when
a
you're trying
shop.
to copy a job, if you have to take the time to redo the job so you have to copy it again versus just click, yes, I want this one again.
Yeah.
That right there probably saved you $500.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or if you're doing, you're doing yard signs and you're like, like our demo room here when we have a Vanguard here. So I have two options, right? I could flatbed print them or I could print and apply them, right? And that's going to depend on what's available, if our machine's down.
Yeah.
So sometimes you may have done the yard signs and for whatever reason, your flatbed was down that week. So instead you printed them. But you forget that, right? So you quote the job, you flatbed print them, and they get them, and they're like, these don't look anything like the last ones you gave me, and they're right next to each other right now. And you're like, oh shoot, I guess I should have clarified that. Hey, these ones are flatbed, the last one were printed. So even those kinds of things where it's like, hey, let's make sure these all look the same every time. Like that very simple stuff.
But even just so as far as that happening, just within the normal process of things, the name Align was to align from, the front end to the back, right? So if you're quoting a job a certain way, expecting it at a certain quality level and, the certain material that is being used, if that's not known in production and the person in production just like, oh yeah, I know how to make yard signs and, we always used to do print and mount or whatever it is. That's a great image. I'm going to run that in fine art mode or, whatever it is. If you have all of those things connected and aligned, you're quoting based on a certain quality level of the job, a certain production method of the job. And that I did it.
Almost got it again.
I said I was going to keep my hands down here. I can't do it. So
I'm like, I was going to say, you can't do it.
I couldn't even say the next word. So
we need just extra weights. That's what we need.
So when the job, when you're actually doing the process of submitting the order from within a line, it's actually landing in Thrive with the, the profile and print mode and quantity and everything in there already. So you really are lining those things up and making sure things are run, the way you're quoting them without production knowing how much that costs. That doesn't matter. They just know what the quote was based on.
Yeah.
The methodology that they've got to go about to produce the job.
Yeah. So, it's a lot harder to mess it up when it's in your Vanguard queue and it's not in your Roland queue. It's a lot easier to get that right, probably. So that's cool. Is there any other future updates you guys have been working on that people have been asking for that are coming soon that you guys can talk about?
So, our product manager, Calvin Tuttle, guy's just, crazy, amazing, organized, enthused, excited. He's always taking into account customer and prospect feedback and, prioritizing the next features that are coming in a line based on that. Some of the things we get a lot of is, while it was fantastic to come out with QuickBooks because that was a very common, connective functionality that we needed. You get people asking for, what about my inventory management system or what about my e-commerce site or my other accounting system that's not QuickBooks? So one of the things that's, we're definitely, will be out there at some point, if Calvin will be listening at some point, so I'm not going to put timetables on there, but obviously, we looked at, or we'll be looking at putting in an API for a line at some point because we can't anticipate all of the different things that, somebody, shipping is another one. So being able to connect to those other systems, certainly something, on the radar for us.
What's taking Calvin so long?
Yeah.
Calvin, let's get it done, dude.
Hey, Calvin.
Fantastic job on QuickBooks. Calvin.
Hey, Calvin, we have a use for if you could get a Shopify integration. We have a use for it. So if you want to just put that just on the top of the list, if you're listening to this, let me know when it's ready.
We can help you prioritize, Calvin.
Yeah, that one should be number one. I could use it starting in like February. So
Yeah, he's going to kill me for this for sure.
it's just a recommendation. Okay. I'm not saying this is what's coming next. I'm just saying if I could pick, this is what I would like to see next from you. So thank you, Calvin. I appreciate it.
It's interesting.
So yeah, so Calvin said he's doing Shopify next. That's what I just heard.
Thanks, Calvin. Appreciate
He's
your
in my ear.
support.
That was pretty much all the questions I had. So yeah, thanks. The last question we always ask is, what do you think sets Onyx apart from its competitors in the market?
Specific to a line?
Or just in general?
Yeah. Well, I would say really we've been there since the beginning. So Onyx started in 1989, pretty much at the inception of, the wide format, printing market, I would say. So we have a lot of experience and knowledge to bear, knowledge of the market, knowledge of daily business challenges for our customers that drives not only our the workflow product that everybody uses to print and cut, but also, the order management system like Align. So, definitely, we understand what the customers need and what they'd benefit from the most.
Yeah. I mean, when I said this so this would have been Print United last year, I think, when I saw Align for the first time, I was like, this makes sense.
Right.
Like you just see it and you're like, yes.
Yeah.
Like, yep.
Right.
They obviously
exactly
knew what they needed. Yeah.
It's kind of funny that you say that because we looked at each other kind of when we saw it, we kind of went,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah.
Andrea looked at me because I said, this might be the coolest thing I've seen here. And it was like the last day. It was like Friday at like 2:00. And I was like, this might be the coolest thing we've seen. And she's like, are you being serious? I was like, I'm being dead serious. I was like, in terms of like new stuff that's actually useful, like we've seen new equipment at the show, but it was nothing like groundbreaking. It's like, we've seen 7 versions of this already. Versus this was like, I haven't seen this, like, and I'm sure people need it. So, yeah, I mean, for ours, that was one of the key takeaways from the show. It's like,
Where was I?
You were yapping.
What do you mean?
Tyler and I were watching the
You were
demo.
probably just out there chatting with Calvin. He wasn't going over perks of the software, though. You guys were just making fun of each other the whole time, probably.
Calvin? Is that the one that lost his phone? Is that
At
Calvin?
the last show? I don't
Who was
remember.
which guy lost his phone at the last show?
Oh man, I'm gonna get in trouble for saying that as well. Peter.
Peter. Yeah.
Peter.
Hey, Peter, remember we had that flip phone at the show?
Yeah. And we use that as a promo. Come to Onyx to see the latest in technologies. You have Peter on a flip phone talking.
Yeah,
brilliant.
Peter.
Big shout out, Peter. Hopefully you got a phone by now.
We like Calvin way better than you, Peter. So,
Well, Peter, we'll see you at the next show. Hopefully you listen to this episode.
Show us your new.
Yeah, hopefully you have a new phone by then. So, well, Jeff, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
I appreciate the opportunity. Hopefully I can come back to address all the other things that Domingo brought up in the intro.
Exactly.
how do they get on? How do they get it? How do they buy it? What do they got to do?
Yeah. Or how do they get a hold of
How do they get a hold of you? How do they get it?
Start with you over at Wensco. So talk to your Wensco rep and they'll get Onyx involved and we'll take you through the process.
Okay, call us.
Call us.
Absolutely.
And we'll get Brian Coates involved because he might be the only one that knows enough to quote it for you. So
No, Domingo knows everything there is to know about Onyx.
Yeah, we
Plus
can.
some.
we said get a hold of
Hey, we
sales
saw a
reps.
lot
didn't
of
say
we saw
get
a lot
hold
of service
Domingo.
agreements.
All right,
So,
get a hold of
good.
Domingo. His cell phone number is
Call him.
You're going to superimpose that on the screen.
Please call him after hours because
Yeah, okay.
he's got
Right.
stuff to do during the day.
his
Yeah, I
office
do.
hours
Right.
are 4:15 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. every day.
Yep.
Those are his preferred hours.
What am I doing here?
Well,
No,
no,
those are your phone hours. We got regular hours. We got phone
I
hours.
thought you said work hours.
We got stuff for you to do. We said office hours. Your office hours are 4:15 to 9:30.
we don't want them to interrupt you when you're at work.
Yeah,
We
so we're
want
having
them
to
to
call
get
you
at night.
after.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a good idea.
I see how it works.
Yeah. So, anyways, thanks again, Jeff. Hopefully, you guys learned something this one. And if you have questions on software, get a hold of us, and we'll point you in the right direction. So, thanks
you.
for listening, guys, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Appreciate
See
it.
ya.